Hey there, this is Shaheen from ShaheenMiroInsights.com, and I am going to be doing the weekly energetic forecast for this upcoming week of August the 21st. So I'm going to look at the energy flow for this upcoming week and offer some prescriptions and suggestions for how to best navigate this energy in order to really link into your intentions and to the flow to avoid any hurdles and upsets and really make magic happen. I love to work with people in this way where we're looking at these points of resistance and these places of power in your life and helping you find ways to navigate the energy flow, because really it's all about energy, and it's all about how that energy is moving and flowing and how you can best go with that current. And a lot of times what happens when things aren't working in our lives, we're hitting a wall, we're going into a place of resistance, which means that we've stepped out of that place of being fluid and curious and trusting our intuition and moving into the rigidity. So what we do when we're doing a reading and when we look at the intuitive forecast or the energetic forecast for the week is we're looking at the flow and the places of power and really the opportunities in that upcoming week in the story. So as you know, the eclipse is tomorrow, and for a lot of people this is an exciting time, and people are getting the glasses and they're gathering and they're waiting to see this because it's such a monumental event. And something that's really interesting to me is the energy behind this. So my interpretation, and I am not an astrologer, so I'm not really going to go into that, but my interpretation is that the moon is covering the sun, and when I work with people, I talk a lot about the lunar self versus the solar self. And the lunar self is really the intuitive, creative, imaginative self that is inside of all of us, and that's where our impressions come from, where our inner wisdom comes from, where our creativity comes from. And it's really what we think of when we talk about the right brain. And then the solar self is the analytical, rational self that wants to quantify things, wants to understand things, wants to make logic out of things. And most of the world runs under the solar self. And that's what we think of as the left brain. And so to me, this is really a fascinating time because we tend to be very solar in our daily lives, and our world tends to be structured in that way. But with this eclipse, it's like there's a shift in the balance. We get this chance to go into the dreamscape of our lunar self and see what impressions, what energies, what inspirations, what wisdom wants to come out. So I invite you to view the solar eclipse as a time to do that, to really go in and listen to your inner wisdom, listen to your lunar self. And it's the new moon, which is such a beautiful time to set seeds of intention. So I was just doing my workshop, Tarot for Troubled Times, with Teresa Reed. We did this workshop together all about navigating the troubled times in the world right now through tarot. And she talked briefly about setting intentions at the new moon. And she said at the time of the new moon, make a list of 5 wishes or desires that you would like to fulfill, linking in with that energy of nurturing and growth and abundance that happens at the new moon, and see what happens. So I invite you to do the same thing. All right, so let's look at the 3 cards we have. So I am using my Playing Card Oracles by Ana Cortez because it's one of my favorite decks, and it's been speaking to me lately. So not the big version of the Rider-Waite this week, but these beautiful cards. So the first card that we have is Marduk, who is called the Heartless, and he is the King of Spades. And this is really talking about, as we move into this week, there's going to be an energy that feels really hard, rigid, stuck, feels really combative. You might even find yourself feeling a bit confrontational with people, or feeling like the environment is hostile. So a really good way to combat this harsh energy of the King of Spades is to keep yourself grounded, centered, really plant your feet here on the earth, check your anxiety levels, check that you're present, that you're here right now. And anytime you feel this harsh energy, or you feel combative, or you feel confrontational, or you feel that coming at you, stop for a moment, close your eyes, ground center, breathe, and become very aware of how you're contributing, what energies you're putting out there, and how you can engage in the experience and respond rather than react. The second card we have is Fortuna, and she is the 10 of clubs. And I love her because she is dancing, moving. You see her chiffon is wrapping all around her. The wind is kind of crazy, and she is just living, dancing, moving with life. And so this week, the way to work with the energy is to be present and then move with the flow. You might even find that breathing exercises are really helpful for you. Excuse me. You might find that taking a walk, clearing your head by getting some fresh air is going to be really helpful for you. Try some dancing and movement. Just stand up, move around, let your limbs, your arms, your legs, your neck, your head, your spine, let it all move around and work the kinks out. And even check out some things like interpretive dance or self-expression through movement. Check out Gabrielle Roth and the 5 Rhythm System. It's wonderful healing work. But that's going to be a great way to move with things this week. And the third card we have is the Knight of Hearts. And we see he only has one side facing us. So he is two-sided or two-faced. You only get one of his sides. And he has a dagger behind his back, and he has his back turned to us. So he's talking about a surprise, something that you cannot trust. This week you might encounter something that feels like, though it's presenting one way, something feels off. You're not really sure of the intention there. You might find this is a person or a situation. I keep feeling like these are, this is gonna come up as events or engagements or situations where maybe you get an invitation to something, or you're invited to something and it doesn't feel right, something feels off, like there's an ulterior motive. Trust that feeling, ground center, be present, and move with the energy. So if the path of least resistance is not to go because that doesn't feel fluid, then don't do it. These are some really interesting cards, and you'll notice here, and this is something about reading playing cards and tarot that we look at, the 4 suits. And we have 3 cards here because we pulled 3 cards, but we don't have any diamonds. So what's interesting me about that is diamonds are about energy, action, fire in this system. And what this is telling me is the week ahead is not going to be so much about creating as much as it's going to be about observing and interacting. So be very aware of that going forward. All right, I hope you have an awesome week. I hope it's filled with big magic and lots of excitement. I hope you love the eclipse. Let me know if you have any interesting experiences and really link in with that energy. And as always, I invite you to share any questions or comments or suggestions that you might have. You can use the contact form above to shoot me an email, or you can leave a comment below. And feel free to share this. Feel free to interact. I love hearing from you guys. I do this because I love connecting with you. I love sharing the energy, sharing the love, sharing the magic. And if you would like to do your own private intuitive guidance session and get a feel for the flow of your energy, then book a private session with me. I would love to work with you. I would love to help you find some empowered steps forward so that you can feel more prosperous, feel more abundant, feel more connected to family and friends, love and relationships, and that you can feel more on purpose and feel more healthy and whole. We can work on that together. And we can also work on energy clearing out the old, clearing out the blockages, realigning, and getting your stuff right. So I hope to hear from you soon, and until then, take care of yourself. Bye now.